I'm good. I think right now I'm in that, what is it like that? Not the cocoon, like in a cocoon phase right now in my life. I feel like there's so many cool things that have happened, especially even this year. It started off on such a high, being able to perform at the Juno's live broadcast with like my whole team was just so amazing. So I felt like I've been on a high ever since, especially going back and rewatching it. I think it just makes my heart so full. What else? I mean, live shows, incorporating dancers into that element now is another new like journey for me. And being somebody that doesn't come from a dance background, it's almost like, what the heck am I doing? But at the same time, it's not that hard. It's just more practice, I guess. It's just all that's needed. But I'm not bad. I'm not saying I'm a bad dancer. I don't got two left feet, so I'm glad. But, yeah, I think it's just getting into a good flow of things and learning how to balance. I think that's right now is the key word, is just trying to find balance in everything that I'm doing right now. I even did a tour. I forgot about that. Like that felt like such a blur, and being in like 18 different states in like a span of a month and like 2 weeks is it's a lot, I guess, for like one person. That was my first time going on tour. I opened for Pink Sweats. Amazing, amazing team. He's such an amazing performer too. His personality live is like so insanely funny, but it's very captivating. So even that I was taking notes on, and just like how he engaged with the crowd and how he made people in the room feel. It was very inspiring. So being able to be a part of that and go across the country and eat really good food, get to see a meteor crash site. I think that highlight reel this year is going to be like really special for me when I sit down and take it all in. I think it's just being able to have like downtime where I'm like not doing anything like work related, and trying to find that time to just like focus on like, being with my friends and family, and like my dog. I have a puppy now, so like spending time with him. And then also having that time to be like, okay, I'm in like work mode. What does that look like? That looks like making sure vocally I'm getting like, lessons and training, and making sure that I'm just upkeeping my voice, and working with band, making sure that the shows that I do feel consistent, the way I'm doing the runs feel consistent. So I'm just kind of trying to build like a regimen for that. And now I'm adding choreo into the mix and working with, a really dope and prominent like choreographer named Mark Samuels. He's awesome in Toronto. He's like one of the best people that I've been working with, along with like Marla as well, for vocal training, and just like, I guess, building those core times with them so I'm able to perfect my craft hopefully in the future. Yeah, it's just like finding that balance, I guess. I think what really helped me benefit just to like why I'm here now is honestly because the team really did think about artist development. From day one, we were like, okay, you've never really been in a recording studio. You're going to start learning how to record on a mic in a studio with producers, with songwriters, working with people that you've never worked before. And me being somebody that's naturally a hermit, it's like, okay, I go from like the four walls of my bedroom to now going into a space every day with different people and just learning to just adjust. But I'm also like a butterfly sometimes, where I'm okay to just talk and vibe. As long as the vibe feels good, I will open up anyway. So yeah, it's interesting, like learning that studio process, and now being so comfortable in the studio that I have my own like flow. I like to take off my shoes. I usually have a cup of tea. And the first hour, I like it to be like an icebreaker. I just want to know where everybody's from, how they got to where they got to, and like, yeah, just like more about them, because it's still like a human aspect. Like if we're gonna create, it's so personal. And I feel like the only way that people will be able to bring out their best selves is if everybody's comfortable in the room. When you're starting out, like you shouldn't skip any steps. I feel like it's really important to just do the groundwork in your local town, like connect with the people that you're going to definitely see on a daily basis, because like it only goes up from there. And you just build that really good bond with people. You never know when they're going to think of you, and vice versa, when you're going to be like, oh, I know this person, like this person's really good, you should hit him up because he's a really good DJ. I had him at my show, and vice versa. It just goes like both ways. So I feel like it's just good to, yeah, just overall just build that bond with people locally, and you'll get there. What are like things that I could do now when I am on stage in front of the crowd to help the crowd also feel like they're a part of the moment. Because I am, again, somebody that's like very shy. So like talking to the crowd is not my favorite thing to do, but I still know that it's important. And as an artist, if I want to obviously keep doing more shows, I want people to feel like, okay, like I'm a part of this with her as she's performing to me, you know, whether it's me just explaining about the song or asking the crowd, what's a good food spot out here? People start shouting different things, like, you know, like people just want to feel like they're a part of it. And I think that's super important too, as you're growing as an artist. I think it's just that human aspect. Like I am getting like somebody that really does value feeling a good vibe from somebody, and if I want that feeling to come naturally from somebody, I've also got to give that energy as well. Like I don't know, I'm very much like energy, you know? So I feel like it's like what you give is what you get, you know. And sometimes the vibe is not right, and you know we just don't engage in that then. You know what I mean? Because not every time it's going to be a positive experience, but I do try to like be like, okay, I'm putting my best foot forward, and I'm just going to hope for the best. And even if it doesn't go the way you want it to, it's like it's still just the part of the experience, because then it teaches you to be like, okay, I can see this going to where somewhere where I wasn't really a fan of, something I wasn't really a fan of, but I know how to engage with it and not let it really mess with you mentally. I think as a kid, I'm not gonna say I'm the most like, oh my God, like I'm pretty calm for the most part, you know, but there'll be times where I'm just like, okay, like, you know, this is definitely pushing my buttons a bit. But I think in this industry, you do also have to like understand like, okay, things don't flow and you can't do everything on your own, which is why it is really essential to get like a team. Like you're gonna need people to be able to oversee certain things and to be able to help you, because it's all at the end of the day, everybody wants to see you do well. And once your team starts to know you and know how you work, it makes things so much easier for your process, because then you could be like, oh, I know that they already know how I feel about this, or they already know who to talk to. So it kind of takes that offloads that work for me, and then I can just focus on just writing. I could just focus on working on the next album, for example, and not having to overthink every little thing. When you have a team that's also as excited about you as you are, if you see like the people around you are like, oh my gosh, like we love working with Aqyila because we could see where she's gonna go. Like we know that this is somebody that actually wants it, so we're gonna work as hard because we want her to get there as well. Like I think that's like the best part about it. And all the time I know people always say like, oh girl, you keep talking about your team, but it's true, because like I feel like I really do have a well-rounded team that actually cares. And I think as an artist, that should be like one of the biggest things you put at the forefront. Money aside, like shows aside, like you want people that are going to prep you so that when you get put in these situations for shows, for opportunities, you have people there that are like not going to throw you into like something like crazy. Like they're going to know like this is her lane. These are the people that I think she should start working on or working with, and then building that foundation and building that groundwork. So when bigger opportunities arise, it's not like you're going to be completely thrown off or like phased by it. It's kind of like, okay, like you've done this before, but at this level now. One time I did a live show in Toronto and I got a chemical peel like a couple days before, and I didn't start peeling until I had the show the next day. So I was on the stage and I didn't wear any makeup or anything. So I was just had a hood on. It was not my best show, and I knew it wasn't my best show. And I was just like, damn, like this is not how I wanted people to see or hear me. And since then, I've obviously timed my things way better. I'm not doing any type of facial treatments anywhere near a live show ever again. But it's just like learning curves like that. You know, I was also really nervous to the point where my voice vocally, it was shaking because of my nerves. So it's just like, again, learning how to sing through it, encourage myself, and not think so much about like, okay, like, damn, like, even if I did look a bit hectic, it's just like putting my best foot forward. I just wish I did in that moment, because I knew wasn't my best show. You know, things happen, like even live sometimes, like mishaps, but it's just like singing through it. There was a time when I had no backgrounds, harmonies playing out loud, and it wasn't me, it was like a tech issue. And I was upset because I know how my set is supposed to sound like, and it didn't sound like that, and it was at a festival, but the people in the crowd actually, like they wouldn't know. And I think that's just another thing that as an artist, you have to remember sometimes, is like, even if you're performing a song and say you mess up your own lyrics, sometimes they don't even know. They wouldn't know. So if you don't make it a big deal, they're not really going to know. You just got to know how to control the room and control the situation and just keep going, you know? But yeah, I think those were probably like two like letdowns I remember. In that moment, I was just really scared, you know. But I'm so glad it didn't actually really stick with people. Like people came from that show to my headline show that I did last year, and they were like, "Yeah, I saw you at that performance," and they're like, "And such it's like night and day." And I was like, "Thank you for coming back and seeing, first of all, that was not me at my potential. And I appreciate that because you know, I knew that I could do a lot better, and that just came with more practice. That came with doing more shows, opening for more people. Like oftentimes I had a lot of like opening shows, and I still do. Like I open for a lot of like dope like US artists that come in. I opened for Joyce Rice and Cat Burns, and those were like my better shows in Toronto, where people got to really get a feel of my music and how I am live, and you know how I might throw in like a little joke or two on stage and like interact with the crowd. And those were also two shows that I realized that there's people locally that like really do listen to me, and I could hear them singing like through my in-ears. I take out the in-ear and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys know this one. And they're like, yeah, girl, we listen to you. So it was just like encouraging moments like that. That's what I allow to like stick with me, because that's only gonna make me feel like, okay, I got this. Like I'm where I need to be. I feel like I've gotten even more like business artist oriented. I know now like what I want to see in the future from myself, and I also know what I like and then what I don't like. I think I'm getting better at being more vocal of like, this is cool, not a fan of this. And I guess learning to like speak up more for myself. You know what I mean? Not to say that like there was issues before. I think oftentimes actually, I feel like sometimes we say yes to things in the moment, even if we don't want to say yes, and then we're just like, oh man, you know what? That probably wasn't the best thing. But it's like it's just about just also learning, like knowing when to say yes. I would say don't hold back all the time. Sometimes I say yes, even though I know I'm like scared, and I'm like, you know what? I'm scared to do this, but I'm gonna say yes. And then I do it, and I'm like, it actually wasn't that bad. You know, yeah, you just gotta just go for it sometimes, you know. So yeah, I feel like nowadays I'm like outside of my hermit shell more. I still sometimes don't like going outside, but I'm outside when I need to be now. Me before would have been like, oh man, like 3 shows in a week is so hectic. But then now I'm like, you know what? I could do it. I just gotta map it out more. I gotta plan it out more and see like, okay, how can I make a bigger impact, especially with the album out. Like I have my debut album out, you know what I mean? It's a huge deal for me because these songs I've been working on for over a year. So for them to be out now, I'm like, I gotta be doing these shows. I want people to hear this music live. I want people to feel what I felt when I was in the studio. Now I'm like, I got this. I'm just gonna have fun on stage. I think before I was definitely very scared, even singing my own music. I was very shy and nervous. And now I feel like I know how to command a room a bit better, and I have more faith in myself when I'm on stage than I did before. So I think, yeah, younger me and me like 3 years ago is so different than me now, especially when I do a show or when I'm doing an interview or where I'm at an event or I'm talking to people. There is like a new level of confidence that I have, and it's great. It's good to have that, honestly. And it's never like, oh, like I did this and I did this. It's just more like I know who I am, and I feel self-assured. I just got off of a writing trip where I was just in LA and Atlanta working on the second album. This is the most vulnerable I've ever been so far. And I've actually really enjoyed it. I think I've really enjoyed it. I'm definitely, not to say that I wasn't a part of like my writing process, because I'm always writing along with the writers, but even more so I've taken more of the lead in the writing when in these sessions, and leaning on myself a bit more and being confident in my writing, you know, because I felt like after Vibe for Me, that was like my first ever song ever, and that was the song that kind of just pushed me in front of so many people's eyes. I was like, oh, I don't know if I'd ever like make another song that like, or write another song fully by myself that people connect with, but that was definitely not true because it's coming from me and it came from my heart. So I think once I got that thought out of my head, I learned like, okay, it's always gonna be in me. It's gonna be in me. I don't know when it'll be another viral moment, but it's just within me. Clearly, there's something that people connect with when it comes to my music, and I'm just gonna hold on to that feeling. I've had that feeling for 2 songs. Hello and Bloom. I knew automatically when I made them that they were gonna be big songs, and I don't know what it was necessarily. It was kind of just like I guess like, yeah, my arm, like all the hairs on my arm stood up, like when I made both of those songs. Hello for the reasoning of just being how expressive I was kind of about like a situation that I was going through at the time in my life. And even though it's so open-ended, like the song could be about really anything, just knowing that I was finally able to express how I was feeling in that moment and put it into a song, and then people just connected with it automatically. It was so beautiful, and I think that that's like another thing of just like the human aspect. It's just that relatability when people listen to your music, you know. And then Bloom, for that same reason, again, it's like I love love. Like I'm a lover girl at heart, so I love songs, and in being in the studio with Jonathan and Maya, making that song, it like made my heart smile in like so many different ways. Oh my gosh, I was watching to see how many people on like, you know, on Spotify were like in the, you know, when you could see like the amount of listeners. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, okay, people are looking, it's great. And then I was like, let me close the app. Like, let me just breathe for a bit. I want to see, you know, how people feel about it. And so many people were like, it's so cohesive. Like, it sounds really soothing. And I was like, okay, like, I'm glad. Like, people are taking it in the way I would take it in. Even to this day, people will comment on TikTok like, oh my gosh, I just listened to your album. And even though it's not that long ago it came out, I'm like, I'm glad it's making its rounds. And I think that's what's so important, because we're definitely in an era of like instant gratification. Like, ideally, I think any artist that drops their album wants it to blow up like immediately. But I had to like calm myself down and be like, listen, even if it's not right now, you don't know what'll happen in the next 4 months, in the next 2 months. It could be next 2 weeks. Like, it's just remembering again like the moments I enjoyed for each song, and just living with that, and letting people just, you know, consume it and take it in how they really please. It came a long way. Just my first, like, you know, the Vibe for Me song that was, you know, about a bob wig. I just never, I don't know, like I just knew in that moment when I started that one, I had to turn it around to something else, because there was no way I was going to sing about a wig for like 3 minutes. I said, okay, how can I, you know, flip this into something that I actually care about? And so when I'm talking about self-empowerment, you know, loving yourself, the vibe you carry when you walk into a room, I think I just had to hold on to that feeling and just remember that it's not corny. It's just like who I am, you know? But yeah, I've definitely had, there's some songs that I do have that I'm like, you know, you won't hear me sing that one. But I think every artist is like that. Like, some of my peers are like, yeah, I don't know why you like that song of mine. I hate it. And I'm like, you know what? I get it, but I like it because of this and this. And there's going to be that stuff with my songs too, where there's some songs I'm like, you know, I feel like it could have been better, but there's somebody that's connecting with it anyway, and that's all that really matters. I talk to myself a lot. I think that's really it. Like, I look at the mirror and I'll talk to myself a lot, and I like to journal. I do. I like to regulate myself through journaling. If I can't write it down, then I type it down, you know, and I do like to go back sometimes and reread and see where I was, what headspace I was in that time, and where I'm at now, and be like, oh wow, like I remember I was so scared to go through this, and this, and now I'm looking at where I'm at and I'm like really proud. So I think it's just, again, just like self-regulating, reminding yourself to stay grounded, and just telling myself that, again, I'm where I need to be right now, you know? My family keeps me grounded. Can't lie. I love being home. So every time I'm abroad, I'm always like FaceTiming my family and my friends, and like just checking in to see how they're doing. And either that or vice versa, they'll hit me up, because they obviously know that like if I'm not answering right away, it's probably because I'm doing something. You know what I mean? But yeah, they keep me grounded. I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, they're who I do it for. You know, I'm out here, I'm singing, obviously, because I love to do it. But at the same time, it helps even more when I'm able to provide for them and, like, give them an even better life, you know? So, yeah, I guess that's one, yeah, that's my biggest motivator. I remember in high school, I took an automotive class, so I really thought, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be a mechanic. I'm going to be the first, like, woman-owned, like, car shop. Probably not, obviously. There's probably definitely girls out there doing their thing, but I thought I was going to be the first. And then I was like, no, actually, I want to be a lawyer. And so I took a law course. Whew, I almost failed that class in high school. The teacher was like, I don't know how you passed, girl. But I was like, okay, that's definitely not for me. It's definitely a lot going on in law. But I did actually pursue child and youth care for like 1 year. But then I did leave because I was just like, damn, I'm not focusing like the way I thought I would. So Yeah, there was like many things I wanted to do. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep singing and I'm gonna keep just working, doing my job and just see where it takes me. And it was great that like, obviously I have the supportive parents that I have and the family that I have that's just like, yeah, just keep putting yourself out there. And that's exactly what I did. And I am really grateful because clearly they saw the vision and I was just like doing it for fun. And then it just so happened to now be my career. But yeah, I don't know. I never thought like I actually would be a singer. Oftentimes when you just throw yourself into new situations that you end up checking off the your goals. I think when you think about it too hard, like, oh, I really wanna go to Atlanta, for example. Like in 2020, I didn't have a valid passport. I was still working at my hostess job. I was not signed. I was just singing on like YouTube and stuff. But I put so many cool things on there. I put like obviously a valid passport. I put Los Angeles. I put Atlanta. I did not have a team. I did not know anybody. I was just chilling in my house. But I just put it on there because I thought these would be cool things to do in the future, but I didn't know how. And then in 2021, I looked back at it and I was like, that's so crazy because I finally got to go to LA. That's where I record now to do like most of my music. I made so many cool connections out there. I put a puppy on there. I got a puppy this year though, but like, I think it's just not about even like the timing. I think things will happen. It's just like you got to put yourself though in that place for things to actually start going. And oftentimes you just got to just go for it. So it's like, yeah, taking that leap of faith, really. I think that's how manifestations just come about, is when you just put yourself in a situation that you've never been in before. Great. I brought both my parents out as well for the Junos, so my dad and them got to see me, obviously perform, but even like collect the award, etc. And it's just so surreal. Like I can see how proud they are. And they always tell me how proud they are of me and all my siblings and family members. So yeah, it feels amazing. It does feel amazing. Yeah. And it feels like again like I'm in the right place. And I think that's why I've entitled the album Falling Into Place. Is because like these pieces of my life I feel are coming together, and I feel like I am in a stage right now where I'm not falling to the ground. I'm really just falling to where I need to be. And yeah, that's really I think what the album was about, was just like experiences of love and experiences of sadness and pain, but also knowing that I'm definitely on my way to where I gotta be.